Hello, everyone. Happy FriYAY. Welcome to the Unlearning Podcast. Hope you all are having an amazing day. Hope you had an amazing week. So we're going to pick up where we left off in our part one, where we talked about what does it mean to truly embrace your uniqueness. And in that episode, I gave 6 tips that are 6 qualities that allow you to embrace your uniqueness. So in this episode, we're going to talk about 6 things that you can do or 6 steps you can take to embrace your uniqueness. I think step 1, you got to self-reflect. That's in everything you do. You have to be self-reflective. You have to be self-referencing. You got to get to know yourself. And while I'm on this journey and I've kind of stepped out of the workforce and I've had a lot of time as I'm working from home, and I think what COVID taught us all is that spending time to get to know yourself. A lot of times we have this rat race that we're running on this hamster wheel, and we never get the chance to know ourselves. And so taking the time, be it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, a day, a weekend, what have you, focus on you. Start small, right? What are your passions? What are your strengths? What do you value? And I don't mean that in the collective sense of what you've been conditioned to believe, like you really sitting there and saying, what are you passionate about? What are your strengths? What are your values? And I think it's also important in answering that question, kind of looking back on your life and reflecting on your life experiences, because I think that provides insights into who you are and can help you tap into those pieces. One other thing I'm going to say for the process of embracing your uniqueness, like it needs to come from you, right? So asking other people, like, what do you think my passions are? I used to do that a lot. Like, what do you think I'm good at? And it was because I wasn't trusting myself enough. And so by you self-reflecting, it's you answering that question. And I'll tell you something that works for me. When I asked myself that question or I said it out loud, an immediate answer came. Like it came through my body, my energy. That's the answer. Trust that that's the answer and then move on to the next question. So self-reflection is a huge. The second one, letting go of comparison. Now, I have an episode, a podcast episode, and you can find it on my YouTube channel where I talk about you're always the person in the middle, and there's nothing wrong with that. Being the person in the middle allows you to not focus on other people. It allows you to embrace where you are and who you are in that moment. And you have someone to look forward and up, looking up to, and you have someone who you can help. So comparing yourself kills dreams. It kills your spirit because it stifles your uniqueness. Everybody is on their own journey in life. Everybody has a natural inclination to the thing that they're designed to do. So if you compare yourself to other people, you are truly living a life that's inauthentic. And that happens a lot in social media because we see people with the cars and the houses and the material things. And we think that, man, I'm missing out. You are right where you need to be at the time for where you're at. And so in thinking that way, you can't look at what other people have. It's kind of like you have to have blinders on. And that's what I did. I often say, or I've heard people say, stay in your lane because that's where you're needed. But I like to say, stay in your lane because that's where you're gifted. And so if you, focus on you and not the people around you, you'll be happier and you're truly embracing your uniqueness. Number 3 is exploring your passions. So whether it's a hobby, it's a career path, it's a whatever that is, it can be, the most random thing. That's who you are. And so embracing the fact that, this is what you're passionate about gives you a sense and actually exploring the passion. And that means finding out what the passion is, but then being courageous and brave enough to tap into it. It's going to bring you joy and it's naturally going to bring you a sense of fulfillment because it's speaking to who you are. whether it's a hobby, I don't care, it's a career, it's a cause. When we invest time in what we love, it's going to amplify you being unique. And you're going to bring, people, I hear a lot of times in career, bring the joy factor. But what we forget is that the joy factor comes from being authentically you. You can't have joy and be someone else. Living someone else's life is a miserable experience. Like, I do not advise that. So yeah, find what your passions are and explore them. And then surround yourself with positivity. So, when you surround yourself, and I say this a lot, eagles and chickens, they don't mix. When you surround yourself in your tribe of people who are positive and who bring that energy because they are comfortable with being themselves, we all know, let's face it, we all know when somebody is being fake phony, fake positive. And for a lot of us, it irritates you, right? So when you're truly around people who are joyous and they're happy, it's because they are authentically themselves. And so that's what you want to be around. And that also means that you have to be authentic and genuine. Like, you have to be those things in order to be that positive and supporting your uniqueness. Again, it's going to create this environment for you to accept yourself. And when you can accept who you truly are, it leaves space naturally for you to accept other people. Next tip is to practice self-compassion. And this is something that a lot of us don't do enough, or we don't do well enough as much as we could. Let me say that. We feel like we don't do enough, or we feel like we don't do all that we can. We're often very compassionate for other people, and we tend to be extremely self-critical and judgmental of ourselves. And so when you embrace your unique qualities, it comes with ups and downs. It comes, like I told you in the previous episode, it comes with people misunderstanding you sometimes. It comes with people rejecting you or repelling you at times. Those ups and downs, and also in acknowledging that you have strengths, but you also have weaknesses and you have insecurities. As I'm going on my journey of healing, I find that I have a lot of shadows. I have a lot of insecurities that come up. I told you all, a while back that rejection has been one of those, and I've been working on that. But throughout that process of when I felt, like I was being triggered from feeling like I was being rejected or feel like I was being misunderstood, I had to give myself compassion. Because I can be overly critical, as you can be overly critical of yourself. And so I had to give myself compassion. And so I've had to learn, I heard someone say, like, when you have boundaries aren't for other people. Like, the boundaries are for yourself, with yourself. And so one of the boundaries that I've now created for myself is I'm not going to let myself talk to myself the way I wouldn't talk to other people. So, Christina, you cannot talk to me like that. That's the self-talk I give to help me be aware that you need to talk to me in a compassionate way. And so that's what, that's a tip I've been doing, and maybe that will help you along your journey as well. But it's important that you treat yourself with kindness and you understand, what you're doing and why you're doing it. Like, talk to yourself the way you talk to a good friend when you're trying to understand with kindness. You deserve to talk to yourself that way. And along this journey, it's just important to know, like, as we grow, we self-discover, we change. We have the right to change. You have the right to evolve. You have the right, to not be the same person the same way. Like, I know people from like years ago, if people saw me who knew me in high school and college, who now see me today, that's a totally different Christina. And I expect them to be totally different as well, because living things grow, they change, they evolve, right? And so the fun of that is discovering who you are and consistently working to grow. I just want to end this by saying, like, it's so important as you are on your journey to be unique that you have to embrace yourself and your individuality openly and bravely. And so in celebrating the beauty in who you are is going to help you celebrate the beauty of others. And so that's what makes the world a powerful, kick-ass place. It's when we all can come together and embrace that. And I know I got some naysayers out there who's like, well, that's not possible. That's not the real world. The world is what you make it. The world is how you perceive it. So one thing I have committed to myself, I'm not going out in this world not being me. And you could take it, you could leave it. But at the end of the day, I can look at myself and I can say, you know what? I was me and I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm going to be compassionate with myself. Hope that helps. I hope you all enjoyed this message. If you do, please like, share, subscribe, hit notification buttons, leave a message, leave a comment. I'm getting better at responding to comments. So bear with me as I work out this technology thing and the social media thing. I'm still working on it, but I'm getting better. And so just thank you all for listening. Thank you all for always taking the time to just hear me out. And I appreciate it. I love you guys. Take care. God bless. Bye.